What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the stream. And today, as you can see from the title of this video, I am a little frustrated. And you can see right there, we are 41-62 on the season. This season has not gone how we planned. Yeah, we've been getting beat up, and I'm not very happy about it. Some of the guys I was hoping for big things out of have been underperforming. Some of our prospects haven't developed as we had hoped. So, as always, let's get this trade deadline episode started with a little bit of a recap on how the season has gone so far. So, Santiago Espinal still doing a great job. The batting average a little lower than previous years, but slugging numbers are a little bit higher, so that's promising to see that. Espinal has been everything we could have hoped for and more, so pretty happy with that. Elliot Ramos, not a bad first full season in the majors, can't be too disappointed there. Ian Happ has cooled off a little bit, but overall decent numbers. I'd like to see that slugging a little higher, probably near the 460s, somewhere around there, 470s like his career numbers are, but not too bad. Matt Chapman has actually lost potential. I'm frustrated with him. He's just complete and utter power outage. Only 6 home runs on the year. He was stuck at 4 home runs until like a week ago. So, yeah, he's heated up now. Hopefully he can kind of gain back some of that potential, maybe get back into the A. He's at 89 right now. If he can get back into A, I think he was only 91 when the season started. So, a little frustrating to see, but in the end, yeah. Michael Busch picking it up as the season has gone on, so the numbers are getting a little closer to where I want them. Still not great, but okay. We're getting some decent growth out of him in the power lefty department, but we're going to need to see more things across the board if we're going to get what we hoped out of him. Yasmani Grandal has not had a great year, but that is okay. We are still going to trade him at the deadline because he has a 2 WAR, so he has some pretty good value. We've called Dalton Kelly up. Not as good as his first season up in the majors. He's really just being thrust in there because Yerman Mercedes got hurt. And I didn't have anybody else I really loved in the DH spot. Nick Gordon, again, the on-base percentage is ugly, but the average power numbers good enough for me. Nicky Lopez is hitting 286, so that average is close to where I want. What's his WAR on the season? So 2.7. Very good season for Nicky Lopez. We may move him. Who knows? You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. Jeter Downs has cooled off after the hot start to the season, so not super happy about that. Mickey Moniak has continued to have a fantastic year. This is what we've been hoping to get out of Mickey Moniak, so very happy about that. Ivan Herrera, not too bad. He's only got the 88 at-bats in the season, but not bad. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm going to trade Yasmani Grandal, so I am ready to hand the reins to Ivan Herrera, and we're going to see how it goes. Willie Castro has not been good for us. Yeah, I mean, he's the end of bench bat, but I'm hoping for a little bit more out of him besides what he's given for us there. Switching over to the pitching rotation, Lance Lynn, not a great season, but the big workhorse is still a pretty decent trade value. We actually did find an offer that we liked and that would work for people. So, yeah, we're going to trade him at the deadline. Brady Singer's been pretty bad. He's entering non-tender territory, although the FIP is actually pretty good. I just noticed that. So maybe he's going to kick it going near the end of the season. We'll see how he goes down the stretch. Glenn Otto has not been very good. I was thinking of him as more of a back-end rotation starter, and, well, last year was decent, but he tailed off at the end of the season. This year's not been very good. Bobby Miller has significantly cooled off. That FIP is over 5, so that's not promising. Brian Bello has started to pick it up, ladies and gentlemen. So the ERA doesn't look great, neither is the FIP, but he is on a hot streak right now. Asa Lacy, we pushed in the majors, not good early on. So as you see, our pitching continues to struggle. I don't know. I might just leave these guys up here and let them work through their struggles, and hopefully that'll pay off for us in coming seasons. Riley Thompson, not a great season in the majors, but Tyler Ivey and Luis Frias have been good. So has Dylan Coleman. And then Yohan Ramirez and Carlos Hernandez to be good bullpen arms. Tyler Hearn, not been what we were hoping we were getting. Lots of walks, I think. No, walks are the problem. So what is this FIP? Yeah, home runs, walks are a little higher than what not striking out people. So don't think he'll be around very long. He's already 29 years old, and we're not getting what we hoped out of him. So other than Ace Lacy, Riley Thompson, and Tyler Hearn, I like what our bullpen has been giving us, so that is promising. Take it back to the minors, just to show you some of the guys. Gunnar Henderson has cooled off a little bit, but overall still having a pretty good season. Like to see him take some more walks, but overall good year. Carson Taylor has moved himself into discussion for a probably second catcher, maybe splitting time with the starter, because he's been hitting pretty well. Decent defensive numbers, although not great. Leoma Peguero has cooled off, though I do like the power numbers. He says slugging over 400, so that is nice. Pete Crow Armstrong, I was really hoping to see that bat develop after we acquired him from the Cubs last season, but it's not happening right now. He's already 22 years old, so I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about him. And then Cole Roeder, not a great season out of him either. Down in Double-A, Kevin Mate continues to have a strong season. Happy about that. Alexander Ramirez is picked up with the batting average is about where I'd like it to be, but the power numbers could be a little bit better. Kyle Manzardo continues to be a good staple for us in that lineup. Davison Los Santos has helped improve himself a little bit. Like the walk numbers, power numbers are getting closer to where I want. So nice improvement out of him. Again, he's only 20 years old, so I'm not going to panic yet. Manuel Rodriguez, decent year now, but not outstanding. Leandro Rojas, his slugging is up over that 411. Only 18 years old, so I'm not going to be concerned about him. Got some growth in there. I might have to give him some auto growth as well because we talked about in that last episode about something glitchy that's going on with him, so I'm not quite sure what that is. And then our first round draft pick from 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, it was our first round draft pick. Good power numbers, but the average has slipped after a hot start to the season, but getting some decent growth in those numbers. I've been training his contact. I may have to switch over to some of his vision and discipline numbers to get some better things out of him. Switching over to the pitching rotations, Kyle Nicholas has settled down in the AAA, so that's good. I don't know. I might switch him into a full-time relief role because he's got some pretty nasty stuff, so maybe I'll consider that for next season. Bo Brisk, not been great. I don't know. I might non-tender him, depending how our roster shakes out in the offseason. Kyle Harrison has settled in. That's good. Might be looking to get him in the majors at some point. Back way. Okay season. The whip's a little high, but the strikeout numbers are good. Cole Franklin has had an excellent season. He's on a little cold streak right now, but overall great numbers across the board. Bryce Miller and Dylan Dodd have not been good. Bryce Bonnen's been good. 67 strikeouts in 38 innings. That's impressive. He might be looking for a call-up to the majors at some point. Let's see what else to speak of. Keegan Aiken's been good, so he might be pushing for a call-up to push Taylor Ahern out of a lefty role in the bullpen. Jeremiah Estrada, good, and Abner Uribe has settled down as I predicted in the last episode. Seemed like he was getting a little bit of bad luck, but he has significantly heated up. Actually lost one to that K/9 number, so a little bit upset about that, but it is what it is. Adam Lindsay, not a great season, but only age 20, 66 overall already, so that's pretty good. Alec Willis is looking pretty good. Marco Rayo's looking pretty good. Derek Leonard's looking pretty good. And Logan Henderson's looking pretty good all across the board there. Ronnie Collado, he looks like a pretty good pitcher we picked up from the Rockies in the offseason. We traded Greg Deichmann for him, and Deichmann's actually cooking in Colorado. So it looks like it's working out for both teams. And then nothing else I really want to speak of there. So let us get to the trades. So I worked out some pretty exotic looking trades in this episode. I know I pretty much say that every year, but I'm pretty excited about how these are going to work out. I think these are the trades that are going to really put us over the top and help us be competitive next year, along with some free agent moves. So I'm going to be moving Nicky Lopez finally. Average finally got to where I wanted it. Slugging, he was never going to be a slugging guy. See, his WAR was just under 3. So there is a team that is rebuilding but could really use a shortstop, and I'm going to go and talk to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they do not have a good shortstop. They have Kiner Falefa, who is not very good. And you see Nicky Lopez is 7 higher than them. They have Sergio Alcantara, who's not very good. He's also maxed out on potential. They do have Blaze Alexander and Jordan Lawler, but they're a little far away from the majors, so they need Nicky Lopez probably for a year, maybe a little bit longer than that. He'll turn into a trade chip for them. I am also going to be sending our first pitcher draft pick from this rebuild, Adam Lindsay. See, he's having an okay season there. Pretty nasty stuff with a 96 velocity, 92 splitter. And then I'm going to be sending Tyler McDonough. So this is a pretty big return. So we must be getting somebody really good, and we are. I'm going to go get Corbin Carroll. So the Diamondbacks, you might be saying, well, wait, why would they trade an A potential player if they're in the midst of a rebuild? Well, look at their center fielders. Cody Bellinger, 89 overall, A potential, 4-year contract. Alec Thomas, B potential, 78 overall, already better, same age. He is only in his entering his second year of service time. Austin Martin, already better versatility. They have Ahmed Rosario out in left field. And then they have a couple of good right fielders. So Jordan Luplow, although he is up for contract at the end of this year. So Corbin Carroll might be a guy they want to keep, but I'm giving them a couple of needs. So I'm giving them a good pitcher, and they need a little bit of young pitching help. So Adam Lindsay helps there. Plus, like I showed you, they need that shortstop help as well. I didn't need to give them Tyler McDonough, but I thought because I'm taking an A potential player, I wanted to give them a little bit of an overpay, and I feel like Tyler McDonough is a nice little piece for them. Some utility abilities, decent contact hitter, so not a bad return for them. So now that I have Corbin Carroll, let's trade him. So you might be saying, well, wait, why would you trade an A potential 75 overall center fielder? Well, I like Corbin Carroll, but I already have a lot of lefties. And I need somebody with better bat skills, and he's not necessarily an outstanding hitter. Plus, I'm still not giving up on Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm still not. And we got Leandro Rojas in the pipeline behind him. So I am okay to trade Corbin Carroll if I can get a big return, and that's what I'm going to do. In addition, I'm going to trade Cole Roeder because the team I'm trading to could use a decent amount of outfield help. And then the final guy I'm going to be trading is Alec Willis, who is 21 years old, 78 potential, pitching pretty well at AA right now, probably ready for a call up to AAA. And if you watched my offseason recap video, you're not going to be surprised when I show up at the Marlins because I finally figured out how to get Trevor Rogers. It took a lot, but I finally figured out how to get him. Now, he's almost maxed out of potential. He's only got one more, but he has those 2 years of service time left. He's only 26 years old. I love the strikeout numbers. The hits per 9 are solid. The home runs per 9. Base and balls 9, just about average. I'm okay with that. Stamina could be a little bit better, but not too worried about that. I could have gotten Sandy Alcantara for cheaper, actually, but I wanted to go for Rogers because I wanted that big-time lefty. I wanted those strikeout numbers. And besides the stamina, they were pretty even in the per 9 numbers, so Trevor Rogers might actually be even a little bit better of value as a pitcher. So finally excited to get Trevor Rogers on the squad. We needed that big-time front-end pitcher. We might look to sign a big name at pitcher in the offseason as well to really stack the front end of our rotation, and then we'll fill out the back end of the rotation with our young guys. So I also mentioned I'm going to be moving Yasmani Grandal. He's not had a great season at the dish. Weirdly having issues taking walks for some reason. He's only at 8% despite having 91 discipline, starting the season at 97. Not quite sure what that's about, but his WAR is 1.9, so he's still having a pretty decent season. And a team like the Cubbies is not going to complain because they don't have a good catcher. Higashioka, not a good season. He's under the Mendoza line. Power numbers aren't there. Miguel Amaya's not that good. He's hitting pretty well, but is only on 41 at bats. He's not a big time bat. He's only 74 overall. So they probably could use somebody for a year to kind of let Amaya kind of grow in that backup catcher's position. So from the Cubs, I'm going to go to right field and get actually a pretty favorite prospect of mine in the Cubs system, Kevin Alcantara, the return in the Anthony Rizzo trade from last season in real life. Good time power numbers, though he's not showing it at AA yet. So I'm pretty excited about this kid. Would like those discipline numbers to be a little bit better so he can tap into that power more, but I like what we have here. Could use him as a left fielder or a right fielder. We'll see how things shake out. We already have Elliot Ramos in right field, but looks like Alcantara may be a little bit better of a fit in right field, and Elliot Ramos can move to left. We will figure it out as time goes on. So next guy we're going to move our veteran starting right-handed pitcher, Lance Lynn. We're going to move them to another NL Central team. Nothing too big from Lance Lynn. The Cardinals do need some pitching help. As you can see, they are not very good overall. Lance Lynn's actually coming in under. I may auto bump him up to back to 77 or something, whatever he started the season at, just to because I feel like I don't not screwing the Cardinals over. Although I'm not taking anything too much for them. I'm only taking Juan Yepes, and he's blocked by Paul Goldschmidt and Luke Voigt, although they're both free agents coming this season. But I imagine they might try to sign one or both of those. Well, actually, Goldschmidt's already down to 7. Wow, regression is awful in this game. So nothing too big. He's already 26 years old. This is a guy who's going to compete with Michael Busch for that starting first base spot. Might actually put Juan Yepes in that DH role as well, even after Yermin Mercedes comes back, because Yermin Mercedes really hasn't been the same since that 2022 season. So I'm going to finalize that trade, and I'm happy to get Juan Yepes. So after doing a little bit of selling and a little bit of buying, because I was going to get Trevor Rogers, I wanted to do a little bit more buying for our future, and I'm going to go to another NL Central team. As you see, I'm trading with almost all of the NL Central teams in this episode, and I'm going to go get Jonathan India. So what I liked about him is he's got a couple years of service time left. You see he's at that 3.119, 27 years old, good contact bat, really good discipline. This is a guy who can slide in the top of my order. First, second in the order, something like that. Not a great defender, but actually decent defensive numbers. He'll fit well at second base. A little bit of versatility, can play third base at a pinch if I need him to. And decent speed, so he can swipe a couple of bags. And then to get him, I'm going to start by sending the Reds Jeter Downs, so who's a couple years younger. Doesn't have the same potential as India, but he's like 83, so not that bad. Similar profile, maybe a little bit more power against lefties. We'll see. for him. But yeah, not a bad starting point for the Reds. As you see, the bar is already even. But I'm going to send them a couple more pieces. I'm also going to send them Rene Pinto, who is a guy who's not really doing anything for us. He's sitting there in AAA. But he's immediately going to slot in as a starting catcher for the Reds. And he's only 27 years old, has some service time left. So somebody that I think the Reds would be happy to acquire. And then just because I didn't want to feel like I was taking somebody of good value from them with Jonathan India, I'm going to take Willie Castro. He's not been very good for us, but a lot of teams have inquired about him because he is a 77 overall. He does do some things really well, like hit against lefties. So, and he can possibly slide into starting second base role, maybe somewhere in the outfield. I know they need some outfield help, like in right field. So he's also got some service time left, so they can put him through arbitration if they wanted to as well. So I'm going to get Jonathan India, who's going to be a staple at the top of our lineup, at least for a couple seasons, if not for most of the rest of this franchise. And then the final trade, I'm going to be trading with one more NL Central team. The only team I didn't trade with is the Brewers, which I'm fine with because I don't like the Brewers at all. But I'm going to be going and getting Bryan Reynolds. I acquired him in my Rockies franchise last year, and he was a stud, and he's so good in this game. He used to be A potential, so it looks like he lost a little bit potential, but I think he would probably still at least be 89. I'll check that after we finish this trade. But you see the numbers for the franchise there. Really good power bat, gets on base, hits really well. Love this guy. I'm going to immediately sign him to a big extension because I want to keep him around and be a staple in the middle of our order. And we've kind of been struggling a little bit with our center field play. We've been getting good play out of Espinal this year, but I'm going to need to move Espinal somewhere else. Probably to shortstop is where I'm going to end up playing him. So for Bryan Reynolds, we're going to be starting with Cole Franklin. So he's been having a pretty good year, and I'm kind of sad to see Cole Franklin go because, as I mentioned, he's one of my favorite Cubs prospects. But I have some pretty good guys ahead of him, like Bello and Miller as righties. So I probably would prefer to keep those guys around. Plus, the Pirates really do kind of need some pitchers. They got a couple of guys here in the mid-60s that are B, but they're really missing out on guys who are about like MLB ready. Other than Quinn Priester, Mitch Keller is not that good. But other than Quinn Priester, they're really missing out on B potential guys with upside in the majors. So look for Cole Franklin to be a part of that rotation. End of the season, maybe next year as well. We're also going to be sending them Alexander Ramirez, who has started to pick it up with the bat a little bit this season, only 21 years old. And they need some right fielder help. You see they have no B potentials over there right now, so he'll slot in as one of their top right field prospects for sure. And then the final guy we are going to be sending is Mickey Moniak. I'm a little bit sad to send Mickey Moniak because he finally started to figure it out with the bat. He's fit in perfectly as a fourth outfielder for us. But to get this over the top and to acquire Bryan Reynolds, I'm happy to send him away. Yeah, I mean, and he's going to slot in pretty quickly as probably competing with Travis Swaggerty for the starting role. One of these two guys. Travis Swaggerty is actually in AAA, so my guess is Mickey Moniak will be starting for them the rest of the year. And I wish him all the best because he's finally figured it out. The former number one draft pick has started to get it going, and I hope he keeps it going for the rest of his career. And he has a long, successful career for the Pirates. So that is going to be all the trades we are going to make in this episode. You see, we actually improved from 27th to 24th in terms of our overall rank. Our pitching skyrocketed from 30th to 24th. So seems like those moves paid off for us in the short term. So let us actually go over to Bryan Reynolds. Actually, what I want to check first before we go into anything, let's look at his potential. Because I'm pretty sure he was 90 when this franchise started. He's dropped down to 88. So he's still going to grow 2 more overall. And I'll take that because he's already really good to start with. But, damn, I wonder why he dropped because he had, what were his wars? 6.4, 5.7, and 3.8, and he dropped? The potential system in this game is weird. I don't understand that. But anyways, we are going to sign him to, I want to do a 5-year extension because that'll take him to his age 35 season, and I don't want to have regression hit me too hard. He's going to be a star player for us, and that is good. And then Trevor Rogers, do I want to extend? Ooh. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, let's maybe give him a 6-year deal. Maybe I'll wait till the offseason to extend Trevor Rogers. Let's see how he pitches for us because he's been a little high in the ERA last 2 seasons. So let's see how he pitches for us, and I'll consider extending him in the offseason. So anyways, I'm going to go balance out our roster and hopefully set us off for a good end of this season. We're not going to make the playoffs most likely. Well, definitely. But I'm excited for how the coming years are going to go in this franchise. Hopefully next year turns out to be our competitive year and we can make the playoffs and possibly do some more damage from there. So in the meantime, between time, I hope you all enjoyed this episode and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'm gone.